Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. A few days ago, I started a new feature, a liberal media fake news bias update, because the media fake news and bias had gotten so bad that I was doing these little stories, among other stories, but I decided that it deserves an entire update all of its own. But since then, I realized that it's even worse than I thought. So it is now a liberal media fake news bias hypocrisy update. Let's get right into it. The first item is about something that I covered a few days ago about the media's desire, or some of these talking heads in the media, their desire to censor the Trump daily coronavirus briefings because, well, they say it's an opportunity for Trump to hold an ersatz campaign rally, or to flat out lie. As I said at that time, how is what Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci and the other experts, are the media saying that they're lying? And I also said that if the media have a problem with what Trump says, if they think he's lying, they have their station. They have the whole day, except for the 90 minutes of that briefing, to quote unquote debunk anything that they consider to be a lie that Trump says. I said, and others have said it, it's really obvious that the media want to censor these hearings because they allow us to see Trump in real time, unfiltered by the media, seeing him in action instead of getting a description of him in action from a biased media. They don't want the American people to see that because it could help him win the election. And that is what they are all about, preventing Trump from winning the next election and ideally driving him out of office before the next election. Let me give you this headline to start out with. This will illustrate the point perfectly. 8 in 10 have heard Trump virus press conferences. Despite the network TV blackout of President Trump's daily coronavirus task force press conferences and the selective coverage by other liberal media, a huge majority have heard them, and many give the president good grades for his daily remarks. In a new Yahoo News/YouGov survey, 81% of registered voters said that they have listened to the daily briefings. And of those who have heard about them, 44% give Trump an excellent to good rating. I can see that rising to 50% and higher as time goes on, but also this is, and of those who have heard about the briefings, I wonder what the percentage is of the people who have actually watched and listened to the briefings. So that goes under what I call the gatekeeper function of the media. It's supposed to be, as I learned in Journalism 101, a legitimate function. You cannot report everything, so you have to decide, especially if you're talking about news broadcast on television where you have a certain block of time. You can't report everything, so it is legitimate to report some stories and not report others. But as you can understand, there is an opportunity for abuse there by omitting to report things that favor politicians that you don't want to help, or to prevent learning something about a politician that you do want to help that could hurt that politician's election. Which is why, as I said in that earlier blog, they don't cover Joe Biden. They don't cover Trump because it makes him look too good. They don't cover Biden because it makes him look too bad. Next item, and this is very interesting because it refers or relates to something that happened in one of these daily briefings. I believe it was the Monday briefing where Trump said that he had spoken with one of the makers and suppliers of these N95 face masks. He had spoken to that expert, and that expert was surprised that one particular hospital usually needed 20,000 face masks a week, I think it was. They had upped their order to 300,000. Trump just expressed an obvious, I would think, suspicion that, well, as Trump said, that some of these masks may be going out, or maybe most of them going out the back door, that somebody is stealing those masks and maybe selling them on the black market and price gouging, so on and so forth. A reporter challenged Trump on that, and Trump said, and this was very interesting because he said, well, don't ask me, go ask the hospital. I just said something. I'm not saying that it's definitely theft, but you're a reporter. When you want to look into that, 20,000 masks usually ordered, up to 300,000, and the hospital was full before the coronavirus epidemic hit. So you had a fully utilized hospital using 20,000 masks. Now suddenly they need 300,000. The reporter was trying to, as so many of them do unfortunately, trying to hurt Trump, to challenge him on that, to impugn the integrity of Trump for supposedly or possibly impugning the integrity of the hospital. And speaking for myself, it may not be the hospital's fault if somebody is stealing. It's an employee. I'm sure it's not the management of the hospital. At least I would hope not. So with that introduction, let me put up these dueling headlines. The first one is from earlier in March 6th, I believe it is. People are stealing masks and other medical equipment from hospitals, New York Governor Cuomo says. Second story, you can see it on the right there. This is from the 30th. Cuomo and New York hospitals reject Trump's claim masks, quote, going out the back door, unquote. Maybe Cuomo checked in the time between March 6th and March 30th. Maybe he checked and found that that wasn't happening, but, and this is from March 31st, the day after the second headline that I just read you about Cuomo saying that masks are not, quote, going out the back door, unquote. Brooklyn man arrested for hoarding masks, coughing on FBI agents. A Brooklyn man claiming to be infected with the coronavirus coughed on FBI agents who were investigating him for hoarding medical supplies, the U.S. Attorney's Office said Monday. Baruch Feldheim, 43, is facing charges of assault and making false statements to the feds on Sunday outside his Borough Park home, where he allegedly peddled and stored massive amounts of N95 respirator masks, federal officials said. Feldheim is also accused of price gouging. On March 18th, he's suspected of selling a New Jersey doctor about 1,000 of the masks for $12,000, a markup of roughly 700%, authorities said. The accused fraudster also directed another doctor to an Irvington, New Jersey auto repair shop to pick up another order. There, the doctor reported to investigators that Feldheim was allegedly hoarding enough medical supplies, quote, to outfit an entire hospital, unquote. The materials included hand sanitizers, Clorox wipes, chemical cleaning agents, and surgical supplies. We've heard Trump say during the campaign in 2016 that we would win so much that we would get tired of winning, and people have asked since then, are we tired of winning? I would build on that, and if I could, I would ask Donald Trump, is he tired of being proven right? When the media say he's wrong, they say he's wrong, he is eventually proven right. And now we get to the big story. Well, you could call it media gatekeeping, again, as I was talking about before, not reporting certain news, but also media hypocrisy, which is why I had to change the title of my update to include hypocrisy. This is Tara Reade. If you haven't seen it before, Tara Reade is accusing, or she did in the past, but nobody would listen to her, but she is repeating her accusation today that Joe Biden, Democrat presidential candidate, Joe Biden sexually assaulted her in 1993. Just to give you a little more background on this, you just saw the photo of Tara Reade as she looks today. There is a little problem sometimes, not a problem, but when you have these accusations, they are usually made with the accuser in present time. So you see a middle-aged woman accusing somebody of sexual harassment or sexual assault. It helps to know what they looked like at the time. I think it helps a little bit. And even if it doesn't, it's good background. So here is a photo of Tara Reade as she looked at the time. As you can see, very attractive woman. So we are not talking about some middle-aged woman claiming to be sexually harassed, or in Biden's case, sexually assaulted, as you'll see in a minute when I read some quotes to you. This is what she looked like then, an attractive young woman. She was, as she says, so I can't say she was, she allegedly was assaulted by Joe Biden. And I do mean that allegedly. I'm not saying that it necessarily happened, because as happens in these cases, if you're talking about something that happened decades ago, and especially in this case where there were no witnesses, you can't really prove it. You can't really prove it. But I do think there are valid points to be made. Number one, about not reporting the story, bias in not reporting the story, because it's about a Democrat, and not just any Democrat, but the probable Democratic presidential candidate, but also the hypocrisy because of how the media has treated similar allegations against Republicans and Republican Supreme Court nominees. Brett Kavanaugh, of course, but before that, Clarence Thomas. So let me just give you a headline and a couple of quotes, and this will probably be it for today. Finley, and Finley is Nolan Finley, by the way, the author of the article he writes for the Detroit News. Finley, I believe Tara Reade. I'm waiting for the quote, I believe Tara, unquote, buttons to show up on the backpacks and lapels of vigilant progressives the way, quote, I believe Dr. Ford, unquote, pins were ubiquitous last year during the inquisition of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Tara Reade is a former Senate staffer of Joe Biden who says that in 1993, the now Democratic presidential candidate pressed her against the wall, forced his hand under her skirt, and digitally penetrated her. She claims when she resisted, the senator said, quote, I thought you liked me, unquote. Her allegations are more serious and credible than those lodged by Christine Blasey Ford, who says at a party 4 decades ago, a drunken teen, Kavanaugh, locked her in a room, pinned her to a bed, and ground himself against her fully clothed. Reade levels the more serious charge of penetration, which is a felony sexual assault. Her memories are those of a sober adult in the workplace, not of a teenager at an alcohol-infused house party. The other key difference, Kavanaugh has no record as an adult of inappropriate behavior with women. Biden's inability to keep his hands off women and girls is documented by a library of video clips as well as anecdotes from the women he's mishandled. And now we get to the hypocrisy, not just of the media, but of Democratic politicians, Democratic leaders who demanded a full FBI investigation of Kavanaugh are ignoring Reid's story and continue to champion Biden as their standard bearer. They haven't called him in to face questions about the claims. Reid's story has been trumpeted by the conservative media, but most other outlets have reported it without near the sensational frenzy they did Ford's. Nor are her claims sparking the same outrage that erupted when a series of women accused Trump during the 2016 campaign of sexual impropriety. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that sexual impropriety does not rise nearly to the level of sexual assault, which is a felony. That's as clear an example of press hypocrisy as I could think of. And not just of the press, again, but of the politicians who continue to bury this story and support Biden. That's it for today. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can put them in the comments section below the video. Good place also for any questions you might have, suggestions for future topics, and you can subscribe. I would love to get more subscribers, so subscribe, and finally come back and see me again. I look forward to seeing all of you again, and until I do see all of you again, bye.